Hey everyone, I'm Sarah and today we are going to be doing a crochet class. I am teaching how to make mandalas, or some people pronounce it mandala, but what they are is they are radial designs. So they're circular and they have a design in the middle and then they radiate out from that. So that is any kind of mandala. Last week we learned granny squares, which is any kind of square pattern that can be attached to other granny squares, and you can make like a whole blanket or a whole anything. Um, Mandalas can also be joined together, but they can also be beautiful just by themselves. You can continue a mandala and make it really, really big, and it can be a round blanket in and of itself. You can actually get like hexagonal mandalas sometimes. There's just a lot of cool stuff you can do with it. So, what we're going to do, I'm also going to be teaching you how to change color. And changing color is something that you'll do a lot in crochet. So you notice I've got two colors here. Now, normally I would suggest staying with the same type of yarn. So this is 100% acrylic and this is a wool blend, acrylic wool blend. But at the moment, these are the colors that I have. So just to demonstrate the change of color, the main thing is that you use the same size, at least for now, until you get used to changing color and crocheting and patterns and all of that. You make sure the main key is that it's the same size. So these are both size 4, and you can find this by checking. Let's see. This should have on here somewhere. It just says worsted weight, and I happen to know that worsted weight is medium weight or size 4. This one has the actual 4 on there. So they're the same size, and that's the main ingredient is the size. I'm going to be using a size H hook, which is also a 5 millimeter. So that's the size that I'll be using. And then of course I've got my scissors here. So if you are ready, now if you don't have a color to change to, then you can just practice if you want to practice cutting your yarn, like just cutting it wherever you end, and then starting with a new piece. That way you can practice bringing new yarn in. All right, I'm going to start with the this kind of aqua color. So mandalas are in the round. So last time with granny squares, we also worked in the round, but then we made corners, right? So this time, last time what we did is we made the corners, and what we did is we made a loop by chaining 4. Then connecting them together, and we started with that loop. This time we're going to use our magic circle, which I've shown you guys before. So let's see, magic circle, you wrap twice around your finger, and you're going to stick your crochet hook into both parts there. All right, so I'm going to yarn over. I'm holding my finger here because if I let my finger go, it'll just unravel. And what you want to make sure too, sorry, this is important. You're holding this like you normally hold it and wrapping with your tail being on the right side, the outside. Okay. So you got your hook through both. We're going to yarn over, holding it in place, and then I'm going to pull that through. Then I'm going to do 3, 1, 2, 3 chain stitches. That's going to count as our first double crochet. Then I'm going to do a second double crochet. And you can actually let your loop go So I've got 2 double crochets there. Now here's what I'm going to do really quick. I'm going to pull up the pattern so that you can see what I'm working on. Okay, so if you go up, so this is revisiting the Granny Mandala. So I specifically, this is Raymond here. It says crochet with Raymond. This is Raymond, the Siamese kitty. This is a sweet boy. Okay. So I specifically picked this one because it's very similar to the pattern we did last week with the granny square. So, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and state my little pet peeve with when you come to sites. I like patterns that just lay it out really nice. I don't really need to hear everybody's banter on what they thought about the pattern or the design or whatever. This makes it kind of a blog. But because it's free, then this is something that sometimes you just have to put up with. Once I start posting my own patterns, I will not do this. I will keep this separate. So basically what you would have is you'd have the blog part of it, and then separately you'd have the pattern part of it instead of it all being one thing. So where the pattern starts is right here. Oop, and my picture is covering that. So you can still see the beginning of it. Round 1, make a magic ring. So that's what we're on right now. So I'm going to go back to the crochet, but I just wanted you to see the pattern. So this is what it's gonna start looking like generally when we go. Okay. Oops. All right. So I'm coming back. Oops. I'll get there, guys. I'll get there. I moved some things around and I have a new screen. So, all right. So I've got my 2 double crochets here. My first one that I made with my chain 3, and then the next double crochet. I'm going to chain 1. And remember, like with our granny squares, we were chaining 1, then moving on to the next one, then chaining 1, then moving on to the next one. We're doing the same here. This time we're going to do 2 double crochets into this circle. So we got 1, 2, so now we've got 2 sets, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1 again, 2 double crochets, do the same thing. 2 double crochets, and then chain 1. Oops. Same thing as the granny square, remember. All right, so now we have 3 sets, and you can actually split them up on the ring if you want to see them. So I've got 1, 2, 3 sets. All right, we're going to do another one. We're going to go until we have 6. Now normally I like to do all of my circles in patterns of 8, but for some reason this pattern says 6, so I'm just going to follow what the guide says. But I think that the way this pattern reads, we could do 8 if we wanted to. So this is my 4th one. So I've got 2 more I'm going to do. Don't forget to chain 1 at the end of your 2 double crochets. So you do 2 double crochets, and then chain 1. So this is our last set of double crochets. So 2 double crochets, and then chain 1. Now, magic circle, you just pull this. It pulls that tight. That's why it's called the magic circle. All right, now we chained 1, so we're going to connect going into the 3rd chain from the bottom. So 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to do a slip stitch, which means you pull through the first one, pull through the second one without making another yarn over. So this is what you should have. Okay. So now we are going to, now we're on round 2. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This is going to count as our first double crochet. Now, in the same space, come on. You can go into this last chain 1 if you need to. You do another double crochet, chain 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually be crocheting into our chain 1 spaces. So we've got this little kind of shell, like sand dollar looking pattern here, and we've got all of these chain 1 spaces here. That's what we're going to be double crocheting into. So there should be 6 of them. So we've got this one covered. So we chained 1, so now we're going to double crochet into this. Now we're going to do something called double crochet 2 together. Let me just show you. So on the, let me make this a little bigger. Okay, see where it says DC, oops, sorry, too big. Let's just minus that down a little bit. Here we go. Okay, right here. See how it says DC 2 tog? That means double crochet 2 together. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. All right, because we're on round 2 right now. So we did our chain 3, we did 1 double crochet, we chained 1 into the same space. Now we're going to double crochet 2 together. Okay. Oh, you know what? I just realized something. Hold on. We skipped a step. All right, so we're gonna have to go back. My bad. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Let's take your hook out. Here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna go back to the chain 3. That's it. So only go back. Oh no, wait. 1, 2, 3. If for some reason you go too far, where we haven't done the slip stitch yet, that's okay. In fact, that's where I went. So this is at the end where we did 2 double crochets, we chained 1, and now we're ready to connect the 2. That's where we're going to start from. Sorry to be confusing. It's my bad. I missed something. I forgot, and we did this with the granny square last week, so I don't know why I forgot. But what you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch to pull these together, okay? Don't chain yet. Slip stitch into this next one, into the next double crochet. Come on. So you pull it through again. Now we're at this first one. That's what needed to happen. Sorry about that. And you slip stitch into that hole. Oops, and my yarn is going wonky. All right. So we did 1 slip stitch. We're going to do a second slip stitch into that chain 1 hole. Like we're just going right into the hole. And we're pulling it right on through, not doing anything fancy. All right, now we go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Do a double crochet into that same hole. 1, 2. Chain 1. Now we're going to go right back into the same hole. So we're essentially doing 4 in the same hole. So yarn over like you're going to do your double crochet. Go into that hole. Now I'm going to teach you guys how to do the double crochet 2 together. So you bring it through the first 2, but instead of bringing it through the next 2, when you yarn over, you go right back through that hole. So we're going to go ahead and do a second double crochet. We bring it through these 2, Now we have 3 on our hook. We're going to actually yarn over and bring through all 3. So what this does, I'm going to show you guys if I can. What this does is you've got 2 double crochets, 1, 2, but only 1 loop. So you double crocheted 2 together. So this is our chain 1 right here. So this is the only loop for 2 double crochets. So we did two together. So that's what we're doing. All right. So then we're going to chain 1 again. And now we're going to move on to the next chain 1 space. So double crochet, 2 together. So 1, yarn over, but this time instead of bringing it through these 2, we're going to go right back into the hole. Bring it through the first 2, and then bring it through all 3. So that way you only have 1 hole, 1 crochet for 2 posts. Chain 1, and then we're going to do 2 more in that same chain 1 space. So 1, and then we're going to do our second one. Bring through the first 2, then bring through all 3. Hey Flux, how are you? Now we're moving on to the next hole. So we do our first one. Oops. We go ahead and start our second one. And then we pull through all 3. Chain 1. Go back into that hole. Bring through the first 2. Start the double crochet. Good, relaxing with the beer and a sandwich. Oh man, beer and a sandwich sounds really nice right now. I could go for that. I'm actually out of beer right now. I have wine and I have a lot of liquor, but I'm out of beer. But lately, I don't know. Lately, I haven't been wanting beer as much as, well, I've been wanting it, but I don't go to the grocery store that much. You know, I've been trying to avoid being around people, you know. So, yeah. So that means I just haven't been picking up beer as much. Okay, so I did my chain 1. Yeah, I don't really drink super often, although I have been lately more because, you know, I get on voice chats with my buddies or something like that, and, you know, we're all drinking and having fun. Oh, the first beer of the lockdown. Oh, man. Well, I don't want to talk about how many I've had since the lockdown. Yikes. Okay. So I chained 1. I'm getting ready to go into this next chain 1 space. So I start my double crochet, then I do my second double crochet, pull through the first 2, pull through the next 3, chain 1. Go back into that same hole, start my first double crochet, do my next double crochet, and then pull through all 3 to chain together. All right, now I can move on to the next chain 1 space. I'm starting my second double crochet. Oops. Well, Flux, it's nice to be able to relax every once in a while, so that sounds pretty good. All right, pull through all 3. Chain 1. Go in. Start your first double crochet. I keep missing this yarn. This yarn. Oh, the yarn. I've changed cameras. So now I've got a wide angle camera. So now you guys can actually see what I'm doing. It's not hiding my hands. Okay. So I'm going to start my second double crochet. Not against alcohol, but I like to only drink when it feels right. So if I go to Ireland, I'll drink every day. But home alone, I just never fancy alcohol. That's true. Like when I'm by myself, I don't really drink. It's only when I'm like hanging out with friends. But that's my point is, you know, being on voice chat is like hanging out with friends. So, all right. So I've got 2 in here. So I'm on my last chain one space here. So don't forget to chain 1 at the end of every double crochet set. So we're going into our last hole. Yeah, someday I'd like to go to Ireland. I think that sounds like a lot of fun. How far are you? Chain 1, and then we'll do our last set of double crochets. Like how long does it take for you to get to Ireland? All right, chain 1 at the very end. And then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, and we're going to slip stitch those together. All right, now we are ready to change colors. So we're going to go ahead and cut this. And like I said, if you don't have 2 different colors, it's no problem. Go ahead and cut anyway, and then you can just start with the same color just to give you practice of doing the start. So I like to cut it. I like to give it probably about 4 inches. We're not doing metric today. Sorry, guys. I'm not converting. Something I need to do, though. I would like to go ahead and weave this in here so it's not hanging off. 50-minute flight, 30 minutes on bus to airport, and then over there it's an hour drive from Dublin to my friend's house. Ah, not too bad. So you do fly. I was wondering if you flew or if you drove or what. I mean, you could drive, right? Conceivably. I mean, a 50-minute flight, I feel like that's what, like a 4-hour drive? Maybe? So, you've been on ferry loads too, but years ago. Okay. Okay, so what I'm doing to weave this in, because we've got kind of a wonky pattern, is I'm just going into each of my double crochets and pulling this through. I'm weaving it in and out. And then I'm just going to go back the opposite direction. Oops. Okay. Struggling here. I am, for some reason, struggling. Okay, so I'm going the opposite direction. Guys, seriously. Okay. So I'm pulling it back through the opposite direction, and then I'm just going to trim it. I'm trying to like get in there to where like I'm actually going through something and not just the holes. All right, that should be good. That should be good. It's not pulling any. Okay. Do not worry about this one here. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, oops, I'm turned the wrong way. Your yarn should always be to the left. If you're right-handed and you're doing this right-handed, your yarn should always like fly to the left. So you can tell if you're backwards if your yarn is over to the right. So that's backwards. So it needs to be, it should be to the left and it should be behind in most cases. Oh, it's 6 hour. Oh, with 6 hour ferry crossing. Ah. Oh yeah, that would be really long. Well, I guess, yeah, Ireland's an island. So yeah. That makes sense. I didn't even think about that. Okay, so we're going to, so we've got our hook in here. We're just going to pull the yarn, the tail, right on through and end it. So that knots that, so it's done. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave this color in. So, rather than weaving it in, I'm going to actually just carry it across. So I'll show you how to do that. All right, let's go ahead and get our next color. So all you're going to do is yarn over one time. Like that's it. Just pull it over. Okay. We're going to go through the first, if I can find it, the first stitch. This should come behind. Pull it through. And you're actually pretending like this is an actual loop. So you're pulling it under this loop, under this string here. Essentially, if you look at it, you're just pulling a loop up through the hole. But this is going to carry through. Okay. So now we've got a loop on our hook that's actually attached. It's precariously attached. If I were to pull, it would just pull it right through. So another way you could do this, you basically just, hold on, yarn over, go through the hole. This needs to come behind. Yarn over again, and you're just going to pull through. Okay. Said, because the roads are very winding through Wales, it's like taking the scenic route. The very scenic route. You even pass an amazing castle before the port. Oh man, that sounds pretty cool. I don't think I've ever been in a real life castle. I'm trying to think. When I went to England in high school, and I'm trying to think if we visited any. I don't think we did. We stayed in mostly like southern England. We did stop at like Stonehenge. But okay. So we joined the new color. We're going to this first chain one. So remember, hold on. We're going to slip stitch over to it. So you're going to go into the next hole and slip stitch into our new color. Then we're going to slip stitch into the chain one space. Pull that through. And we're supposed to be catching these. Hold on. Oh, I'm not able to do that. Okay. North coast of Wales, the road follows great beauty. Oh, yeah, I bet. I mean, I remember it being beautiful, just the places that I went. So, yes, we did. I don't remember. Well, it might not have been. Is there like a Salisbury there, maybe? I don't know. The problem is this was like high school for me, so it was 23 years ago, 25 years ago, something, a long time. So I don't fully remember, but I know we went somewhere around there, yeah. So that very well could have been the right place. Okay, so we're going to chain 3. This counts as our first double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Now notice that I'm holding these to the left. I want these to keep to the left. We're going to crochet right over them. This is called carrying the yarn. So we're carrying the yarn through. All right. So then we are going to do 2 double crochets. So 1, 2. So we're not doing the 2 together like we did before. So now we should have 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to skip on to the next chain 1 space. All the while keeping our yarn pulled to the left. Okay, so we do 1, 2, we're doing 3. Okay, so 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. Chain 1. Now we're going into the next space. So remember, you've got 2 together, and the next space is right there. I'm going to do 3, so 1, 2, oops, I lost number 2. Salisbury's close to Glastonbury. Okay, cool. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing Glastonbury correctly. All of those buries I feel like have like weird pronunciations. Same with the shires. Like Worcester. What the Worcestershire? Worcestershire? I don't know. I can't pronounce any of that stuff. Okay. Do 3. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. Worcester. That's how you say it? Worcester. What really gets confusing, so don't forget your chain 1 at the end. At the end of each of your 3 crochets. Worcester. Okay. Well, what really gets confusing is here in the States, we also have like similar places, and then they're pronounced even different. So yeah, it's fun. I just say whatever. You missed my Apple story in chat? I'm not sure. Above. Oh, I begged for, sorry, I did miss that. Okay, sorry. I begged for apples there when I went to the festival when I was 15. We ran out of food and begged off the local grocer. He gave us some older apples. He was kind. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, man. I love that. Don't forget to chain 1 at the end. Man, that's pretty cool. Now, when was that? That would have been in like the 90s. I feel like today's might be different. You know. All right, so I've got 3 here. So don't forget to do your chain 1 at the end. Yeah, well, I mean, kids are idiots. But it's not even that you're dumb or anything like that. You're just inexperienced, right? You know, as a kid, you don't really think about things like, oh, we should bring extra food, or we should bring extra money or whatever. Like you're just like, let's go, you know? And I think there's a little bit of okay with that. I mean, it teaches critical thinking, that's for sure, right? I mean, you guys learned a very valuable lesson on that trip about how to ask for things, right? 1990, yeah. So it's like a different time then. I feel like now, maybe if you, I mean, maybe not. It depends. Especially those are smaller towns. So, I mean, maybe they'd still like take pity on you. But yeah, I mean, you know, to adults, we look at kids and we think, oh, they're dumb, you know, but in reality, they're just inexperienced. I think that's most of the decisions we make are based on inexperience. If we had the experience and then we make a poor decision, then we're dumb, you know, but you guys didn't know. All right, so I'm doing 3. I'm doing my 3rd double crochet on the cusp of change. Yeah. Yep. Those were the times. So 90, let's see, how old was I in 90? I was 12. So I'm just a few years younger than you. Okay, I had a little knot there. All right, so I did my chain 1. So I'm going into my next. We're just going around doing 3 double crochets in each chain 1. And then we're adding another chain 1. So chain 1. And then going on to the next one. So we do 3 double crochets. 1, 2. Oops. Got to redo 2. 2. 3. Chain 1. Okay, we're in the last hole there. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, and then we're going to connect. So I count up 1, 2, 3, slip stitch, and I'm going to stop there and let you catch up. So if you are following along, please post in chat when you are caught up. This is approximately what it should look like depending on what colors you're using. Flex says, it was the time when police caught up with the outdoor raves I went to in Derbyshire. The early days of jungle bass, drum and bass. Ah, yeah. Well, let's see. I didn't really get into that until late 90s. Like I was not there. I was still in middle school, so I didn't party that much. And even when I did, I think my partying started really my senior year of high school. That was in 96. And a party kid from 13. Oh my goodness. Well, I was more like the Bob Marley kind of partier, you know? And that's what we listened to. We listened to a lot of like Grateful Dead, Bob Marley, you know, just the kind of hippie kids hanging out, smoking the ganj. That was in 96. So I made up for all the years that I didn't party. I made up for it in high school and college for sure. So, Crixano, are you here today? I just looked over in the chat thing and I saw your name, so I'm hoping that you're really there. And if you are, by the way, are you following me? I'm sure Flux is not following me because usually he's just here for chat and art. Hello, yay, you're here. Okay, are you following along? Oh, that's okay. All right, well then I'm going to keep going. No problem. I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to do the next one. By the way, Flux, are you working on any drawings right now while we're streaming, or you said you're just hanging out and drinking a beer, right? Not drawing necessarily. All right. So here's what we're going to do. So notice, look at this, guys. So remember how we carried our yarn through? So our yarn is right here being carried through, but you can't even see it. Look at that. Cannot even see it. That's my favorite, is carrying the yarn is great because it just hides it. It's invisible. All right, so we're going to slip stitch here. 1, 2, 3. You know what? I'm going to slip stitch just right into that hole there. Let's see, Flux. Then you went to uni, so it continued. Oh yeah, always. The old proper reggae, like Lee Perry, Dillinger, Burning Spear. Oh man, I loved Burning Spear so much. Root reggae and dub reggae. What was the other one? Peter Tosh. I really liked Peter Tosh a lot. Man, that's all good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Crixano said, you were following, but yeah, you'll go back and watch this again later today. Okay, cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sorry if I was going too fast and that's why you got behind. I should have probably paused when we changed color. So that's my bad. Oh, okay. All right. Good. All right. Thank you. What did you, Flux said, Tosh, the king of advertising weed. Oh yeah, big time. Oh, you did? I saw a few of them live, but not a ton. I don't know if they just didn't tour here or maybe it wasn't, because I know that they used to tour UK a lot, but I don't know if they didn't tour here much or, the timing just wasn't right or whatever, you know, but yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm going to start on the next round. The next round is exactly the same as the last round. So I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to double crochet 2 because we're going to get our grouping of 3. So 1, 2. And so now I have 3 double crochets because that first chain 3 counts. Chain 1 and then go into the next chain 1 space right here. Big reggae festivals and small amazing ones too. Oh, I bet, man, I bet. I had this one poster that was, I'm almost positive it was Mick Jagger, Peter Tosh, and Bob Marley, like all standing together. And I had that poster in college. I'm pretty sure that's the 3 guys that were in the picture. So 2, 3. Yeah. I kind of got out of the reggae thing. I mean, I still listen to it, but I listen to a lot of different styles of music now. Okay. So now I chained 1. I'm going into my next chain 1 space. 2, 3, chain 1, and go into my next chain 1 space. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull some extra yarn out for some slack because I'm starting to get a little bit tight there. All right. Okay, so I chained one. All right, going into the next chain one space there. Now on the next round, we're going to change color again. Okay, so and I'm just going to go back to this other color. So 2, 3, chain 1, go into the next one, 1, 2, we're just doing double crochets, 3, chain 1, you saw Lee, I don't know how to pronounce that thing. I know what it is, but Perry's Willie live on stage. Oh, is he? I did. He's a little loony. I will look him up. I don't know if I know. I'm not sure I know him. I will have to look him up. So 3 double crochets. Chain 1. Go into your next chain 1 space. 3 double crochets. Hey, I was wondering if one of you guys can test something for me. Oh, he burned down his whole studio in Jamaica, but he's the man behind all this style of music. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. That is a little bit crazy, sounds like. What I wanted you guys to test is I've got a bot that should tell you guys things. So like you can check my Discord, so you can do ! Discord, and that should give a link. You should be able to do, I think, uptime, which will tell you how long. Okay, cool. So that works. I appreciate it. I think uptime should tell you the time, like how long I've been live. What? That's awesome. I like it. Very cool. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for testing that. I appreciate that, man. Very cool. I've been meaning to test it myself, and I just haven't. I forget about it every stream, but that would be good for when I'm talking about Discord. Instead of me saying, hey, there's a link down below, you know, whatever, I can also just say, you can also type Discord, you know. It'll just make it easier. So if anybody wants to join, then they can just hit that link. Cool. That's nice. I need to get some really cool, I don't say anything like quote worthy, so I can't do that. I'm not like John, you know, where there's all kinds of great quotes. But for anybody watching that doesn't know what John, of what John I speak, I'm talking about Jonathan Blow. He is a game developer that I occasionally watch, less now than I used to. I used to watch like pretty religiously. Like if he was streaming, I'd drop everything and watch. But I don't know. It's, yeah. All right, so my last chain 1, and I'm going to connect these 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to change color again. I'm not like John. Well, it's Jon, but yeah, that I should. I don't think quote works yet. I haven't added that. I don't think. Um, yeah, I'm definitely not like John, but I mean, uh, that's probably a good thing. We only need one John Blow in the world. He is enough. He's a great guy. He's definitely enough. Okay, so I'm adding a new color, right? So I'm switching back. Now, I need to go look at this next round because I don't have it memorized. All right, round 5, we're going to join the new color with a slip stitch, okay? Let's see. We're going to 3 double crochets, 1 in this. Oh, okay, so we're going back into the same space again. All right. So here's what we're going to do. You mod for another streamer, but you're also forgetful. That's funny. Oh, that's right. I think you told me. So yarn over. Okay, we're going to change color. We're going to go into that first double crochet. Pull our yarn. Oops, sorry. Let me do it where you can see it. I'm pulling my yarn behind. And I'm going to pull it through. Now, essentially what you're doing is you're just pulling a loop through and then pulling this over. Part of what distracted you was that you had a really good conversation with Ginger Bill. Oh, Ginger Bill, the creator of Odin language. And then before that, you were talking with him and a few other people about theology, which was cool. Yeah, that's nice. Not like, even though I like religion, I'm not huge into theology because mostly what I am interested in is anthropology of religion. Okay, so I'm doing 1. I'm slip stitching 2. But that's nice conversation. 3. Oops. My last slip stitch is into the next chain 1 space. So I'm pulling it through the chain 1 space and then right on through. Okay. Now I'm carrying the yarn, so remember to keep your tails pulled to the left. All right, we're going to chain 3. You said it didn't get angry or whatever? Like it didn't get heated? The discussion didn't get heated? Like that? All right, now we're going to double crochet 3. Oh, well, 2, because our chain 3 actually counts as a double crochet. So we're going to do 1, 2, okay, then we're going to chain 1. So we've got 3 double crochets here, chain 1, and then in the exact same space, we're going to do another 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. Oh, it was in Thunderdome. Oh, in Handmade. Yeah, Thunderdome. Yeah, that's supposed to be for the heated topics. But you know what? I mean, hey, if it didn't get heated, that's fantastic. I mean, it's nice when you can have a conversation about something that's potentially volatile, like theology, or politics is probably more volatile. But it's nice when you can do that and it just be civil discourse. That's pretty nice. Okay, so we chained 1. We're going to go ahead and do 3 double crochets into the next hole. So 1, 3 men enter, 1 man leaves. Is that from Thunderdome? I never actually saw those movies. And I'm a Gibson fan too, but I never saw the movies. It's just one of the things I love too. And yes, Thunderdome is a movie. That's why it's called that. It's called that because in the movie, Thunderdome was kind of like it was kind of post-apocalyptic, right? You know, so you had this like everybody fend for themselves. It was kind of anarchy, and so it could get there were a lot of battles. Let's just say it was very, very Mad Max. Mad Max and the Thunderdome. Yeah, I didn't see any of the movies. I think I might have seen part of the first one, but I never finished it. That's really kind of not my thing. Like, I'm not like into violence or anything like that, so I didn't really watch it. Oh yeah, I do remember that it had Tina Turner in it. So hot. Ginger Bill has an interest in religion type things too. Yeah, that's cool. Well, see, now you know, Crixano. Now you know why it was called Thunderdome. Okay, so we're making our new... We're doing 3. Chain 1. And then we're doing another set of 3 right in that chain 1 space. I need one more. I need to start sitting up straight. It's not, it's not conducive to a good back when you're like hunching over. I'm going to go ahead and actually trim this bit here, this little gray bit, because I don't really need it to carry anymore. Well, actually, Crixano, Thunder might have been the how they named Thunderdome in the movie. So, I mean, you might not have been wrong there. So I've got 3, chain 1. Jordan Peterson. I hadn't heard of him either until then. So, yeah, I don't know. I know people know about him in Canada for sure. But I think that there's like kind of a group of... I think he's considered kind of a red pill type situation. You know, where like you know about him when you're ready to hear truth, I guess. I don't know. I don't really pay that much attention to most of the stuff on the internet. So I'm learning a lot just from Handmade. All right, chain 1, and I'm going to skip over to the next one. So I actually have no idea if he's popular in the US or not. I don't actually agree with everything he says. I do think that he has a very firm understanding of things. And I haven't seen enough of his talks or interviews to really make it a well-informed decision on whether I like him generally. But there have been things where like I've heard him say something that I didn't agree with. So, which is okay. You know, you don't have to agree with everything. All right, so I chained 1, and now I'm doing a new... Handmade Network is for programmers who basically make things from scratch. The idea is making new tools, especially for programming. But also, you know, there are people that make games and things like that. But it's all about doing it, you know, doing it by hand. You know, people that make things from scratch. I think that... Did Handmade Network start off of Handmade Hero? Is that how it got started, I think? So Handmade Hero is Casey Muratori is making a game that, I mean, he's been making it for, I think, what, a couple years or something? I don't know. But he started basically saying, okay, I'm going to make a game from scratch, and I'm going to teach you how to make a game from scratch. And so I think he uses C and programming language, and he basically it was basically people have been following him and watching him make this game over the years, and learning how to code by watching him make this game. So I guess some people got together and created this whole. It kind of created a culture of doing things from scratch. So, and our very own Crixano here is making his own program, talk about Ion D. I'm sorry I'm not pronouncing it correctly. Deal with it. But tell the stream about that, because it's pretty cool. It's like a grammar program. So I'm doing my 3. Then I chain 1, and then I do 3 again in the same chain 1 space. 2, 3. I got to catch myself slouching. I need one of those like exercise balls, where like it forces you to sit up straight because you got to balance and like it works your core. That's what I need. I need to work that beer belly core. I wonder if that actually works. Like, you love indie games? You know what you could do, Flux? Just look up Handmade Hero. Just Google Handmade Hero. And is it just handmadehero.net or something like that? I think. But anyway, if you Google it, you can go there and just check it out and see. I mean, I don't think it's a playable game yet. I don't think that. But it's pretty cool. I mean, he's got videos and stuff on there, like Video Archive, and you could check it out. I don't know how into programming you are, but by the way, welcome whoever joined the stream. We are doing mandalas today and changing color. So as you can see, I've already changed color twice. Pretty far along in the mandala. So if you want to follow along, you'll probably need to watch the on-demand video, which I do keep all of those. So what we're doing right now is we're going to each of our chain 1 spaces, which are these like big spaces here, and we're doing 6 double crochets. So we're doing 1, 2, 3. Then we are, oops, I got a little excited there on that last double crochet. Then you chain 1, and then you do 3 more in that same hole. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 1. All right. Oop, I was starting to slouch again. Y'all got to keep on me. I can't be slouching. I can't be having that lower back pain, man. Not good. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, chain 1, that connects them. Then I do a second grouping of 3 in the same hole. 2, 3. You dipped your toe in programming, but not your thing. Decent with general computer stuff. Spreadsheet, database stuff. Oh, you made music. Very cool. So, chemist. Yeah, I thought you had said chemist before. Well, see, this is what happens, especially with like scientists, is you end up using a little bit of programming but just to do like what you need to get done. Like you don't do like serious from scratch programming of games or anything like that, you know. What about lingua? Like how you have it spelled in your server, Crixano. Like, is that taken by anybody? Because if it's not, I like that. It's easy to say. It rolls off the tongue. Lingua, it explains what it does, that it's linguistics. I would look into that and see if you can grab that name. So I'm doing my third one here. Then we're getting on the last one. I chain 1, then I'm getting ready to do my last one. All right. So we've got 1, 2, just double crochets, 3, oops. All right, chain 1, do my second grouping of 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I like that name because, you know, potentially you could do it with other languages at some point in time. You know, it could be programmed to eventually take other languages. Maybe there could be like tables that people could fill out or something. I don't know. I think it doesn't have to be just for English. Okay, so I chained 1, and now I'm going to connect 1, 2, 3. So I go into the third chain from the bottom, and I'm going to slip stitch. And so this is what I've got so far. All right, so there are rounds 6 and 7. So what you do is you repeat rounds 3 and 4. And the way that was, if you remember 3 and 4, you've got these chain 1s. You do, let's see, you do 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, just over and over again in each chain 1. Like you don't double them up like you did here. So I could go ahead and add more, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go ahead and finish this here. I like the size. Now, if you were using a smaller yarn, like let's see what I've got here. Like let's say you were doing something with this. Ooh, you know what? Hang on 1 second. I will be right back. You guys, I remembered that I had some mandalas that I made with this size yarn before. So let me show you. Well, let's go ahead and finish this off. So we're going to just snip it. That over. All right. So we're going to yarn over and just pull through the hole and tighten. Then I'm going to weave in my ends. So what I'm going to do is go through, pull this through that first crochet, I'm pulling it through the other side. Trying to get in here in that chain. I don't want to do it through the hole because, it's trying to go through the hole anyway. Because then it's just loose. And that's not going to give you any security. So let's pull it through the chain if you can get in there. One more, I'm going to do 4. Okay, so it's woven that way. I kind of stretch it a little. And then I'm going to start weaving it the opposite direction. So I'm going to pull back through this way. So I'm just weaving it back through. Oops. Okay. All right, so I'm trying to catch up on chat real quick. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and snip this. I'm going to catch up on chat. So there's our mandala. It's actually quite pretty. I like it. And this, this is a good size. Like, see, it's like the size of my hand. This would be like a good pot holder. I mean, not pot holder, like a trivet or something. What's cool about it is because there's acrylic in this, so the yarn that has the wool in it, it has just a little bit of wool, might actually shrink a little bit. So it might shrink up just a little. Because with heat, when you apply heat to wool, that's why you don't want to put anything wool like in the dryer or anything like that. Because it shrinks it. What it's doing is it's felting it. So it's actually taking the wool fibers and felting them together. And so like all hairs have like little shafts that come off of them. So you take 2 shafts and work them together like this. So you lay them on top of each other, and then you agitate them, and you add heat, and then what happens is the shafts like weave in and out of each other. Incidentally, since we were talking about reggae earlier, this is how dreadlocks are made as well. So if you want to dreadlock your hair, what you're doing is you're basically weaving the hair together. So you lay the hair, it lays across each other, and then you mat it. You just create, you rub it together, you create like that friction. Okay, let's catch up on chat. Okay, hold on. Just call it, don't grammar, like flux. Crixana said, I already started supporting Simpla, which is a new simple language created. Okay. And you say, oh, Flex, forgot how a sleepy beer makes you. Yes, it does. Does that mean that you're going to bed? All right. The circular things at the top. At the start, I think we just went through one of, what's it called? Legs? I don't know. But now it looks like you're going through both. Wait, what? You're talking about this? The circular things at the top. I do not understand that. You're talking about this? So what I was doing is I was just weaving in my end. So I was just going into the crochets themselves. No, you're modding in an hour. So it's just an observation. Yes. Beer can make you crazy. The stream just went crazy. Okay. All right. Well, let me show you the mandalas that I made. So I'm going to set that to the side. So this is using tiny yarn. This yarn here. So I'm using light blue, dark blue, purple, and white. So there's one that I made. Here's another one that I made. All using very tiny yarn. Here's another one that I made. So my idea here, the reason I made these with similar colors, is the idea is to have, I want to sew these together, and then I'm going to take a t-shirt that is like a similar color, like maybe this blue or something like that, and I'm going to cut out around these shapes, like once they're sewn together, and then sew these to the back so that basically these become the back of the t-shirt. So that was my idea. So that's why I made a whole bunch of these, and I'm going to make some more. This one was the start of one. So this was the start of a mandala. But you can see how you can get a ton of different patterns with even these are all the same colors pretty much. Like I'm using all the same colors, but because I've got all these different patterns. Isn't that crazy? I think this one might have been a multicolored yarn. That's why it looks so like jagged. I think like the yarn itself actually changed colors as it went, whereas these, I physically changed colors like I did in this one, where I went from purple to white to blue to purple to white to blue, you know, like I did with this aqua and gray. So anyway, so there you go. So there's some examples of mandalas using the very small yarn. So you can see that it looks even different than this. It looks more lacy, you know. You can tell that I have an issue with tension because all of these are like crinkling up because of the fact that but I mean, I'm using, let's see, I'm using like one of those hooks that are like tiny, you know, the tiny, tiny, tiny little hooks. Let me see if I have one here. Let me show you. So like, you know, something like this. I mean, and I even have smaller than that, like tiny little hooks. Comparatively, let's just compare these two. So you can see how it's quite easy to get a little bit of tension going to where like it starts to crumple in to itself. This one didn't crumble in too bad though. Like it did at the beginning, but most of the time it will even out. Like the bigger you get, like if you look at this probably crumpled in a lot more when it was in the middle, and it's crumpling in less like the bigger you get. So that's usually the norm. All right, so this is the mandala we made today. I'm going to set these to the side. We learned how to change color. All it is you basically pull a loop through. I put my hook away, but you pull a loop through and then go ahead and start crocheting. That's it. I mean, that's it. Like there's nothing fancy to changing colors. We learned how to carry the color, like how to carry the yarn. And so you can see yarn's being carried here. Like there's gray in there, but you can like barely see it, you know? So when you carry the yarn, it really loses the, like you lose it in there. So you don't have to worry about, you know, it's showing through. So you could carry colors. Like I could continue to carry the gray all the way around while I do this, so that when I'm ready to use the gray again, bloop, I just bring it up. But to me, that's a little wasteful of yarn, and you have to sit there and like make sure that you're crocheting over it the whole way. Just cut it and start a new one when you get around to it. Especially since I like to go every 2 rows, you know, so I go 2 rows, change color, 2 rows, change color, like that. All right. If anybody does not have questions, let's see. Crixana said, your smallest hook is 2 millimeter. It's really small. Yes, that is very small. Flux says, I hope the art I posted in Discord wasn't too much. I know it was a freaky piece. The eyes. Yes. So what Flux is talking about, if you look here, hold on. I'm using a new camera now, so I've got to put my hand in a new place. So if you look here, this is my Discord channel. Also, I'm just going to put it here and all right. So there's a link to it right there. So here's what's the deal with my Discord, ArtShare. What that is, so I also teach drawing and painting classes on Fridays and Saturdays. Crochet is every Tuesday. So anyone can share artwork. So Flux doesn't particularly follow my streams. He does his own artwork and posts it there, and we talk about it. Or you can follow what I'm doing. You know, you can actually, and even if you're watching this later, you know, a year later or something, you can, you know, do the drawing, take a picture of it, upload it in Discord. I get a notification, and then we can talk about it, you know, and we can have discourse about your artwork, and it really helps you develop as an artist to be able to talk about your work and to be able to have a discussion about it. And I can give you personal feedback on it. So I highly recommend that you join my Discord. But yeah, what Flux is talking about is he posted some of his artwork, and this particular one was a little bit creepy. It had like a lot of eyes in it, and teeth, sometimes inside eyes. So it was interesting, to say the least. So if you want to see this amazing artwork that is very interesting, join that Discord right there. There's also a button, if you don't want to click on it in the chat, there's a button down below that says Discord, and you can click on that too, and that will take you right to it. So I encourage you to join, even if you want to just come look. I post my reference photos there, so whenever I'm doing a drawing or a painting stream, I will post the reference photos so that you can look at that while we're doing the while we're actually doing the stream, you know, so you have something to look at, not just follow my step-by-step stuff. So it's a good thing. And eventually I've got to figure out how to set it up, but eventually I'm going to have chat where we can actually chat while I'm streaming. So like your voice could, in addition to mine, be live, and we could all be chatting together. And wouldn't that be fantastic? Especially with crochet, because I think crochet is something that like is meant to be social. Fiber arts in general is a very social thing. So yeah, so I'm going to try to get that working soon, where we can all be chatting together. All right. So thank you very much for joining me today. If you have any questions, you can also ask on the Discord server. There is a specific channel just for crochet stuff, for crochet projects and questions. I hope to see you there. If not, I have my drawing stream this Friday. All levels are welcome. You do not have to know how to draw to take my class. You can also use a number 2 pencil and plain piece of paper. Nothing fancy. And I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for joining my stream. And have a good night.